cupcakesandbubbles.com for the complete list of our delicious cupcakes. Order online through our webpage. DoorDash and Uber Eats is available too. Enjoy life's sweetest moments with Cupcakes and Bubbles.
This was a proud sponsor of KNLY 91.1 FM.
It started as a dream. When I was a little kid, I always wanted to have my own restaurant, and it was a dream that finally we had the opportunity to build it here in the Woodlands, and I'm so happy with it.
It's a really authentic Italian food. I try to maintain the most original possible. It's very important. Every day I make my fresh pasta.
Chi mangia bene, mangia italiano. Please come and visit us.
This was a proud sponsor of KNLY 91.1
FM. Are submitted by members of our community and are a proud sponsor of KNLY 91.1 FM. The views expressed do not necessarily reflect those of KNLY 91.1 FM and its affiliates.
Hi everybody, and welcome to our inaugural health and wellness show entitled Superhuman with Dr. V and Jason Phelps. I'm Dr. V. I'm the owner of Course Sports Health in Conroe. I'm a family nurse practitioner and a doctor of nursing practice, and I specialize in primary care and functional and integrated medicine, as well as sports performance and recovery. My partner Jason Phelps will unfortunately not be here today. We'll be missing today's show, but I'll have him here with me next week. We have Carlos behind the scenes that's running everything, and I feel really honored and blessed today to have a guest who I really consider one of my mentors. He's my primary sounding board for any and all concerns, and it's Dr. Greg Eads. We've worked together in surgery for over 12 years, and in my humble opinion, he's literally the best Da Vinci robotic gynecological surgeon in the U.S. So how are you doing, Dr. Eads?
Doing great. Thanks. This is a great honor to be on your inaugural show.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you could make it. It was kind of last second, and he was able to get on. But just tell us a little bit about your background and your practice here in the Woodlands.
You bet. So I'm board certified, double board certified in general OBGYN as well as urogynecology, and I'll explain that a little bit. The general OB, everyone knows about. They've had babies or know someone that has had babies. And infertility is a small part of that. There are infertility specialists that do the really advanced things, such as IVF and so forth. Urogynecology is a subspecialty looking at prolapse, women having prolapse, urinary incontinence after especially having babies, and really interfering with their lifestyle. So in addition, Willie mentioned the Da Vinci surgery. That's a true passion of mine. We've worked together on that since 2007. I have nearly 3,000 cases now that I've performed, and probably more than most in the country. It's just been a disruptive technology, as they say. Changed everything that I do and how I do it. Patients do better, go home frequently the same day, even from major surgery, and just doesn't interfere with their lifestyle as much. So that's kind of my background. Just really pleased to be here with Willie. We've worked together very closely. And the really dominant thing that I love about Willie is he wants patients' well-being, and that's something that I really stress also. And that's not just one thing, but absolutely everything about the patient, both physical, mental well-being, psychological well-being, health, hormones, whatever it takes to get you feeling better and living a full life.
Man, that literally segued natural. Like, I didn't even know if you saw my notes, but basically that segued. Just so y'all know, we named the show Superhuman, okay, because I believe that at any age you can attain this. Being superhuman means gaining control of not just your body and health, but also your mind and spirit. Body, mind, and spirit must all be working together for you to be superhuman. You may or not have, or y'all already, if y'all have listened the last 2 weeks, y'all already may or may not have heard this, but I really believe that we've moved so far away from how we are supposed to function primally that we're really, really unhealthy as a society. The basic tenets of like proper food, activity, sunlight, sleep, and even community are not being followed, and we're just generally sicker because of it. And I feel blessed like to have brought the background of nursing, as a nurse practitioner into my doctor, but nursing really does, entail everything all at once, but literally, if you look at the facts are we have skyrocketing overweight and obesity. Diabetes rates are through the roof, Alzheimer's, heart disease, cancer rates. So my overall goal with Superhuman is basically give you the tools to live your best and most vibrant life and have you become a healthy, active 80, 90-year-old or 100, even 100-year-old if you'd like, but with what matters, like a sharp brain, good movement, strong body. Today, the show is going to be a little bit different because, I really wanted Dr. Eads on here at a later date to really, really highlight the Da Vinci and all the benefits of women's health that he has at the clinic. But, obviously, we're here to address a main concern that's, in everybody's mind at this time, and it's basically the COVID-19 virus. We'll discuss what it is and we can do about it. It's just, we've all been gripped by the pandemic, and it's worldwide. It's not just locally. We really want to help locally, but it's really brought the world to really a standstill. Cause extreme stress, anxiety, panic buying of, I still don't understand, toilet paper, food, commodities, widespread. One of my main concerns, though, as I've been going around, is all the food I see people buying is all the food I don't want them eating. So, most people, don't realize that the basics like bread, milk, they're actually making them unhealthier. They really are. And actually, they don't realize that it's making them hungrier. Okay? Bread, for instance, it's a really quick source of glucose. It'll actually raise your blood sugar. A lot of people don't know. Quicker, one piece of bread will raise your blood sugar quicker than 2 tablespoons of straight table sugar. Wow. But what it does, it leaves them with a terrible crash afterwards and makes them hungrier. So, we'll address some of the tips at this stressful time, but it's really, really, I kind of wanted to highlight, and Dr. Eads can pop in, anytime he wants, but I want everybody to, at a basic level, to understand, what a virus is and isn't, and understand, guys, that viruses are not diseases, okay? They're just organisms. Some viruses can trigger various health issues, such as a flu, herpes, cold sore outbreak, shingles, respiratory viruses, but basically they happen when they're allowed to reproduce inside the body unchecked. The increased viral load is what actually goes on to cause the illness or sequelae, or what we call syndromes, like the fever, like the shortness of breath, headaches, the cough that you're seeing. The mere presence of a virus is not a disease. Do you have anything? Do you
Absolutely.
agree?
We are exposed to viruses every day, and frequently you'll get that just where you just don't feel well. Maybe a little low-grade fever, just energy's down, and probably a virus. No one's put a name to it, but we'll talk more about this virus, what has happened here. It's kind of been a perfect storm for a bad outcome across the world, and we'll talk more about that.
Okay. Just real quick, I can't say much about it. I have some really exciting news, so stay tuned about it. There'll be a supplement unveiling shortly that it'll be available in the next couple of days, and it basically acts as a viral attachment inhibitor. It includes an ingredient that has FDA approval, has been studied over 60 years, and has many, many clinical research studies, including the NIH or the National Institute of Health. Lots of white papers on it. So stay tuned for that, and we'll give you more information as we receive it. But understand that right now, and I've told this to patients over and over, it's really the time to really improve your health and wellness. We have the perfect chance to do that. The quality of your immune system or your health is really going to dictate how well you're going to recover. Period. So real quick, Dr. Eads, we've talked about this in surgery, and what's really cool is that we do this all day long. Every Wednesday, Friday that we're in surgery, we're just talking about, up-to-date, events, current events. What makes this virus so different from just the regular flu?
Well, it's a different virus. It's more in the cold. The coronavirus is actually a cold virus. And it's in that group that morphed. Now, we know the SARS virus. The SARS virus came out, I think it was 2002, also from China, which we can talk about why that is occurring. But the SARS virus took us by surprise in that it created an incredible immune inflammatory response in patients. And that was what killed a lot of patients. And as we will see, I think now with this virus, it's the same way. It's actually the body's overreaction. And we'll go into why that can occur, the cytokines and so forth. So this virus is different. I think I mentioned the perfect storm. I think we have three things basic that are occurring to drive this panic. If you've ever studied psychology, one of the big things that talk about is mass hysteria, where a large group of people can just become panicked and hysteric about something, and almost always the outcome of that is worse than the event or the infection itself. And I think we're seeing that here. The perfect storm, I think, was number one, not to put down the internet, but I can create a panic on the internet throughout the world in 5 minutes. Nothing ever like it before in history. In history of this infection occurring in China, we may hear about it a month or two from now, wouldn't know about it. Obviously, people do fly and can spread the virus more. But once again, the internet has done that. And then you have a lot of people taking advantage of that panic on the internet. Then you have the standard media also. I mean, turn on TV, any show, news show, any of them. And they're all in the panic mode, and they're making you panic. And they know that you will keep watching them because they're going to have the latest panic to tell you about. So that's self-serving. And then third thing, which I think has driven this, is the political season. So, in politics, that you can always say that you're doing too much about this or you're not doing enough about this, and I'm the one that really knows what's going on. So once again, it's just driven this panic. And that's the biggest thing, I think, different with this virus.
Well, we're coming up to a commercial break, and when we come back, we'll talk about basic precautions, who are most at risk, and a couple other things on the actual COVID-19. So it's a good start. So we'll go to a commercial break, and we'll see you in just a few minutes.
Turn on your glam today. The Jenna Klein collection is here, elaborated with natural products. Give yourself a compliment with our organic lip glosses in more than 15 shades. With the Jenna Klein lip gloss collection, you can hydrate your lips and keep that glamorous look that you need. Turn on your glam. Visit jennaklein.com. And don't forget our skincare collection with natural ingredients that will improve the skin's appearance and prevent visible signs of aging. We have everything you need to achieve smooth and vitalized skin. jennaklein.com. Turn on your glam today.
This was a proud sponsor of KNLY 91.1 FM.
Woodlands Prime Lending, offering business loan programs for all types of endeavors. Need a startup loan, equipment financing, or even a business line of credit? Woodlands Prime Lending offers a variety of commercial loans to help you get funded when you need it. Call 713-900-7170 or visit us on our website at woodlandsprimelending.com to schedule an appointment today. Getting a loan is easy with Woodlands Prime Lending.
This was a proud sponsor of KNLY 91.1 FM.
We believe this new virus spreads mostly from person to person through respiratory droplets produced when someone who is sick coughs or sneezes. This is similar to how flu and other respiratory illnesses spread. These droplets can land in the mouth or nose of people nearby, or possibly be inhaled into the lungs. Most person-to-person spread happens when people are in close contact. It's also possible that this virus can spread when someone touches a contaminated surface and then touches the mouth, nose, or eyes.
Cupcakes and Bubbles, located at 26400 Kirkendall Road in Tomball, Texas. Cupcakes and Bubbles has the sweetest and most delicious cupcakes for the entire family. From chocolate raspberry, strawberry rhubars, cookies and cream, and the most popular among kids, the s'mores cupcake. Come and enjoy our cupcakes with a glass of your favorite bubbles. Visit www.cupcakesandbubbles.com for the complete list of our delicious cupcakes. Order online through our webpage. DoorDash and Uber Eats is available too. Enjoy life's sweetest moments with Cupcakes and Bubbles.
This was a proud sponsor of KNLY 91.1 FM.
Eddie here. Platinum One.
It started as a dream. When I was a little kid, I always wanted to have my own restaurant. And it was a dream that finally we had the opportunity to build it here in the Woodlands. And I'm so happy with it.
It's a really authentic Italian food. I try to maintain the most original possible. It's very important. Every day I make my fresh pasta.
Chi mangia bene, mangia italiano. Please come and visit us.
This was a proud sponsor of KNLY 91.1 FM.
Hi everybody, we're back with Superhuman with Dr. V and Jason Phelps. I'm sitting here with Dr. Greg Eads and we're discussing the COVID-19. We're going to jump right back in and talk about what are some of the basic precautions for contracting COVID-19, to avoid contracting it.
Well, like anything, we obviously don't want to come in direct contact with this. I think where this is in the panic mode is, and it was interesting there to see the CDC little blurb about it and to show the droplets and so forth. But obviously that is someone obviously infected, sneezing, coughing, and so forth. They aren't going to jump from someone that doesn't have those symptoms. Now, you've heard in some studies that they can actually shed the virus before they have symptoms. And that's true, and that's true for a lot of viruses. But there's nothing you can really do about that. And number one, well, let me finish with your question, and we'll go on to how virulent is it. But looking at that, you wash your hands. Now, you see now they're talking about wash your hands with soap for 20 seconds. Really? Really? How often are you going to do that throughout the day? 20 seconds is a long time. You'd be washing your hands all day long. So that makes no sense. The hand sanitizers, it's good if you are outside, if you meet someone. We're trying to not shake hands, although I still do, and use a hand sanitizer afterwards. So the other thing that you're hearing a lot about, and I think is going to be probably one of the most harmful effects besides economic out of this, is social distancing. Okay? Just exactly opposite what people need. People already feel that they're isolated, and it's a little hard for us to understand in most places in Texas and family and so forth. But you take cities such as New York City, talking about isolated, they already feel isolated with a lot of psychological problems. Now you're telling them to avoid everyone like the plague. I think that's going to be one of the really big problems that we need to overcome after this. And you'll see this 3 feet, you'll see 6 feet. It's not based on anything. I mean, maybe the droplets will decrease, but after 6 feet, but that's only in somebody blowing aggressively, not breathing.
Yeah, one of the points that I make is that we need to actually, I think, change the conversation from social distancing to basically physical, maybe distancing. I mean, there's so many ways we can, connect now with FaceTime, and we're literally FaceTiming our granddaughter like every single day, multiple times a day. But with the internet, with Zoom, with all these things, if at the very least, if you're going to, not go out and, I really think that there still needs to be social connection, rather than, but when they say social distancing, it is really like physical distancing. So I'd really rather they start calling it physical distancing, because it is going to cause a lot of psychological problems. But basically, what is your take on the, we know about the transmission, but basically the corona on, we talked about this in surgery on objects and surfaces, and I know when we went on the plane, we wiped down everything, and some people are even worried about mail from affected areas, clothes, food, things like that. What is your take on kind of that, on that?
So, that goes back to that common sense approach. So if this virus is everywhere and it can live on objects, you can't isolate yourself. I mean, what about your food? What about the food you get? Did someone have it and fixed your food? What about your mail? Everything. You would have to put yourself and just lock yourself in a room, but unfortunately you can't eat or drink because maybe someone touched that. So we have to get to some common sense approach to it. And that I think is just, washing your hands or using hand sanitizers, not necessarily shaking everyone's hand, but more the 3 feet, 6 feet thing, I think has gotten a little ridiculous. It just doesn't make sense, not based on anything concrete, and it's just trying to put some fact behind something that it hasn't been proven. So, and we can go ahead, if you want now, and talk about how virulent is this bug. And that's what you want to know. If there's a bug out there that's so virulent, it's all over everything and just spreads to everyone, and is killing everyone, which a lot of people feel and worry about, then that's different. We don't have that. I think that would be a major, major problem. This virus doesn't do that. So if you look at, and it's hard to keep up with numbers, so any numbers that I give you may be, even every day the numbers change. Yeah, and I mean, I don't think we can necessarily look to China to get any real good information. We know it's a communist country who was trying to protect their image, and I mean, they were slow to even report it.
Even that Axios, I don't know if you saw that Axios, report that came out showing the timeline, showed where even the World Health Organization said that there was no risk in January of human-to-human contact. So there's a lot of things going on. One of the things is we need to really, even yesterday, the Surgeon General, like who are most at risk, I think we do need to be careful with them. I do like what UK is doing as far as they're saying 65 or 70 or older, they need to shelter in place. Time will tell to see if that's more effective or not. But again, even, the Surgeon General came out yesterday and said 99.3% of everyone that even contracts it will recover. Again, we do have to protect our most vulnerable, our autoimmune, our immunocompromised, and I think that's where the main concern is. But basically, real quick, the other question I've had a lot of is, how do I know if I have corona? How do I know if I have the flu? How do I know if I have allergies? We honestly don't know right now. It's hard to tell. We're in that season 2 where anybody, it's the highest pollen count we've ever had, apparently.
Yes.
Everybody's running nose, sneezing, and all of a sudden everybody's, scared if somebody sneezes, my household included. But, how do we know? One of the hallmarks of this is the high fevers that we've been seeing with people. How do we know if that's not flu? The other one, too, is the body aches, chills, headaches. The big thing is we'd really caution everybody from running to the ER unless they have severe, because everybody's worried about overburdening ERs and EDs and hospitals, and I just would really caution that everybody, unless they have, shortness of breath and worsening symptoms, or risk factors, that they don't just run to the ER if they have a runny nose.
Absolutely, and that's a problem we're seeing at the hospitals now. Just overwhelming the hospitals, and I take care of pregnant ladies too, and I tell patients, and this is for the flu season too. They call me and say, "I think I have the flu. Should I go to the ER?" No, All you're doing there is spreading that. Number one. Number two, you have to look and say, what are they going to do for me there? There's no treatment for this at present, although there was notice today, just today, that there may be a treatment. Well, it is actually approved now, but we'll see how effective that is. An old malaria medicine.
Malaria medicine.
Yeah, chloroquine.
Yeah.
So that'll be interesting. But if you have, like 99% of patients have with this virus, and in fact, no long-term effect, there's no reason to go in. Okay, it's just more of, I just want to know if I have it. Well, what does it matter? Now, if you start getting high fevers and respiratory problems, then that's different. You do need to go in. And be honest with you, there's not a whole lot they can do, but it is supportive care. And in this country, I think we'll find that even in those rare patients that get the severe infections, the respiratory infections, I think we'll find our death rate is going to be lower. We have a lot of intensive care unit technology to help with that, ECMO and so forth, respirators if needed. Those are rare, though. Those are very rare. So, speaking of virulence, so the latest statistic I saw actually was from the World Health Organization. It was March the 3rd, which once again, that changes daily. But in Italy, I think we have to look at Italy more than we do China. Once again, I don't think we can trust China to give information that's factual. But Italy has a huge infection rate. And there's only been 100 deaths as of March the 3rd. That has gone up. But the average age of death of those patients was 81. That's average. You have to remember that Italy, they live much longer, and we can go back to Willie's, preventive care, getting healthy. And that's hopefully what we're going to end this on, is saying to you, take care of yourself. Take care of yourself now. Maybe this will go away, but there'll be something else in the future. The better health you have overall, the better you're going to be able to deal with that. 81 was the average. Now, of those group that died, they looked at 3 risk factors. And it was cardiovascular disease by far. Number 2 was hypertension. And number 3 was diabetes. Now, you would say, what about cancer? It was a distant 4th. So what you're seeing are patients with cardiovascular disease over 80. Anything can tip them over. And that's where we need to concentrate, as Willie said, not to isolate society, but to isolate those at major risk. So in other words, the nursing homes, our elderly, our grandparents, they need to be isolated protectively, but not the general public, I don't feel. And I've pretty much been going about normal life. I went down to Galveston. I'm off this week. I was supposed to be with Minnie Mouse.
You're supposed to be at Disney World.
Yeah, Willie actually went the week before and turned the switch off, turned the lights off when he left.
We got out just in time.
I went down to Galveston. People are out having fun, enjoying their family, and they should. I'll go to, wherever, the grocery store, go out to restaurants, but those at risk should be protected.
Well, we are up for another break real quick, so we'll go to some word from our sponsors, and we'll be right back with y'all.
Turn on your glam today. The KNLY collection is here, elaborated with natural products. Give yourself a compliment with our organic lip glosses in more than 15 shades. With the KNLY lip gloss collection, you can hydrate your lips and keep that glamorous look that you need. Turn on your glam. Visit KNLY.com. And don't forget our skincare collection with natural ingredients that will improve the skin's appearance and prevent visible signs of aging. We have everything you need to achieve smooth and vitalized skin. KNLY.com. Turn on your glam today.
This was a proud sponsor of KNLY 91.1 FM.
To whom it may concern, due to the lack of funding, we are unable to purchase school books for students.
We will no longer be offering school lunch programs.
No funding for school supplies.
We are unable to make necessary building repairs.
To whom it may concern.
Whom it may concern.
To whom it may concern.
To whom it may concern, the census is hiring hundreds of workers in your area to help get the funding needed for schools in your community. Apply now at 2020census.gov/jobs.
Cupcakes and Bubbles, located at 26400 Kirkendall Road in Tomball, Texas. Cupcakes and Bubbles has the sweetest and most delicious cupcakes for the entire family. From chocolate raspberry, strawberry rhubars, cookies and cream, and the most popular among kids, the s'mores cupcake. Come and enjoy our cupcakes with a glass of your favorite bubbles. Visit www.cupcakesandbubbles.com for the complete list of our delicious cupcakes. Order online through our webpage. DoorDash and Uber Eats is available too. Enjoy life's sweetest moments with Cupcakes and Bubbles.
This was a proud sponsor of KNLY 91.1 FM.
I'm here for your blood! One donation saves 3 lives. To the Hero Bus! Donation time. Hey, you ready to donate? Oh, blood bomb!
Hi, I'm Dr. Jay Butler, Deputy Director for Infectious Diseases at CDC. I'd like to talk to you about the new virus that causes the disease COVID-19. Older adults and people who have severe chronic medical conditions like heart, lung, or kidney disease or diabetes may be at higher risk for severe illness from COVID-19. If you are one of the people at increased risk for serious COVID-19 illness, it's especially important for you to take action to reduce the risk of getting COVID-19 now. The first thing you can do is take care of your own health. Wash your hands often with soap and water for at least 20 seconds. Use an alcohol-based hand sanitizer with at least 60% alcohol if soap and water are not available. Cover your coughs or sneezes with a tissue, or cough or sneeze into your elbow, not your hands. Avoid contact with people who are sick. Clean and disinfect surfaces in your home, such as counters, tabletops, and doorknobs to remove germs. Use household cleaning sprays or wipes according to the label instructions. The next thing you can do is make a plan for what to do if you do get sick. Know who will take care of you if your caregiver gets sick. Talk to your healthcare provider about getting extra necessary medications to have on hand. Get enough supplies too, including enough household items and groceries so you can stay home for a few weeks if you have to. The third thing you can do is pay attention to what's happening locally. If COVID-19 is spreading in your community, stay home as much as possible and avoid crowds. If you get sick with fever, cough, or shortness of breath, call your healthcare provider. If you develop warning signs, such as difficulty breathing, persistent pain or pressure in your chest, confusion, or blueness of the lips or face, these may be signs of serious illness. Call 911. For more information and the latest resources, please visit cdc.gov/COVID-19 or call 1-800-CDC-INFO. That's 1-800-232-4636.
Hi everybody, we're back with Superhuman with Dr. V and Jason Phelps. I am Dr. V. We got a question from a viewer over the break, and basically it says, since it's a virus, and we'll both weigh in on this, since it's a virus and tears down the immune system, should we really be spending our time amping up our immune system, and what tips and remedies should we be doing? I keep saying this, and I've said this since the very beginning. Now everybody's worried about their health, and we should have already been doing that. Okay, we're like I said at the very beginning, this should actually spark a lot of people to really look closer at their health and wellness, and number one, their diet. The more that you'll watch this show, the more that you'll see that I am very much a food is medicine kind of person. It really does start and end with that. We are going to give you some tips. So it was a great question. But it's specifically one of them, that I want to address is they've come out with elderberry. They said, elderberry not to take. That's one of the main ones that we use to ramp up the immune system. There's some conflicting evidence about taking elderberry and how it may inhibit or may ramp up actually if somebody has a coronavirus. I don't think there's enough data yet to tell. Another thing you're seeing floating around the internet is the ibuprofen.
Mm-hmm.
They're saying don't take ibuprofen. A lot, looking into it, it's really gone viral on the internet, but actually, a lot of health experts says there's currently no credible evidence to show that ibuprofen, we just don't know.
Right.
We just don't know. It basically came from a tweet from a guy that, a doctor on the Lancet, and basically he said that it may worsen the coronavirus. We don't know yet. At this point, it's simply a theory. Many health experts would disagree, but my thoughts are just, if you want to just be safe, just take Tylenol. But as far as, yes, do I believe you need to be taking a good multi? You should have already been. You taking, antioxidants like vitamin C, glutathione, if you can take it. There's a few of them. Yes. The main thing is going to come from your food, from your food. And we've talked about this on the break. It's just basically common sense. Anything to add, Dr. Eads, on that?
So interesting to look at that question. So viruses don't necessarily and don't really break down our immune system. It's just the question is, can we respond to them? So interestingly enough, if you look at patients who died with the SARS virus and now with this virus, we're thinking it's actually not an underactive immune system, but it may actually be an overactive immune system. So if you look at older patients who have chronic illnesses, especially cardiovascular, as I mentioned, hypertension and diabetes, their immune system, and especially as they get older, especially over age 75, their immune system can overreact. So what happens is when we get an infection, our body puts out inflammatory products. In general, they're called cytokines. There are many different types of cytokines, but that's to give the message that there's a problem, the immune system needs to crank up. In these older patients, they actually have what's called a cytokine storm. There's so much cytokines coming out, and they themselves are inflammatory, and Willie is an expert in addressing inflammatory conditions in the body with diet, nutrients, ketones, etc. But so it's interesting, and that's why I think we'll be able to, in this country, save a lot more of those rare patients because we know how to treat the cytokine storm. We have medicines for that, and more aware of that since SARS.
So going back to the diet, I'm not going to hit too much on the fasting aspect because that's going to take up a whole show. We're going to do that in the future on fasting. But guys, this is like literally the optimal time we were talking about on the break to start fasting, or at the very least intermittent fasting. Everybody's worried about a food shortage. Eat less. Literally, just like you said on the break, we're so worried about starving to death from missing one meal or two meals, and actually, ideally, this is not a time to be eating 5-6 meals a day. And in all honesty, for many years, and I think you too, we eat 1 to 2 meals a day. We need to change that conversation. But literally, as everybody's worried about food shortage, I have a easy, free strategy, and it's lower the amount of meals you're eating per day. I recommend to every patient, usually before I even start changing their diet, we put them on what we call a TRE, or a time restricted eating window. Ideally 8 to 10 hours. 12 hours, you've seen some benefits, but usually right now the average American is eating about 15.4 hours a day. That's way too much. So we need to really shift to eating 8 to 10 hours a day, fasting outside of that. And by fasting, that just means no food, okay? You can have tea, you can have coffee, you can have bone broth, you can have other things. I personally every day eat from about 11 or 12 to about 7 p.m. In the morning, I have coffee. I have coffee, we call it fat coffee or bulletproof coffee. Have ketones. I'm a big proponent of ketones, and I'll explain in other shows later what that is, but I'm a big proponent of exogenous ketones. I will drink that about 9 or 10, and then I have my first meal about at 11 or 12. I have a ketone in the afternoon, maybe branched chain amino acids or green tea or something, and then I eat a small dinner, and that's pretty much it. You know, so what does a TRE look like? It's basically, there's no hard or fast rule. I mean, you can eat. Some people, my daughter's a breakfast eater, so she has to get up and eat breakfast at 8 or 9 a.m. So, you know, if you want to do a 10-hour window, that looks like start eating at 9, stop eating by, you know, 7 p.m. You know, you want to do 12-hour, 9 to 9. So if people would just start by eating less, that would be, you know, there's this myth and misconception we talked about, you know, oh, you know, we can't build muscle. We can't. Big Terry Crews, you know, from, you know, America's Got Talent and tons of movies, ex-NFL player. Big Terry Crews is famous from eating from 2 p.m. to 10 p.m. He only eats in an 8-hour window. Outside of that, he eats, drinks branched chain amino acids, you know, different things. Hugh Jackman, when he was training for the Wolverine role, he famously, they put him in an 8-hour TRE, or time restricted eating window. He ate in only 8 hours. And yes, you can build muscle, you know, and things like that. So right now, I wouldn't worry too much about the makeup of the diet. At the very least, start trying to compress the diet in about 8 to 10 hours. But just try to cut out as much sugars, refined and processed carbs, all the things that people are buying. They're buying, right now, everybody at the store is buying bread, sodas and diet sodas, fruit juices, all these things, and it's all the stuff I don't want you to, I want you to be eating. So this is a perfect time. Try to make sure, people say, well, I'm hungry, if I don't, make sure you're putting fats. Fat's been demonized for so long, and we need to not be afraid of fat. Now, not fried foods, that's different. But fats like olive oil,
good fats,
avocado oil, eggs, fatty fish about twice a week, MCT oils, all the stuff you can get at HEB, MCT oils. Brain octane is a really, really good one. You can just put a tablespoon a day. They will keep you satiated, and you won't feel hungry. You will be able to eat. It'll come time to eat, and it's that time to eat, but you're not hungry. So basically, cutting your meals down from 3 to 4 a day to about 1 or 2 a day will really improve your health and actually curb the anxiety right now, a little bit of the food shortages. Plus, and this is the last thing I'll tell you, and y'all that have watched the show the last couple of weeks, I'm very much into the mind, body, spirit connection. Fasting is biblical. It's something that we've moved away from. It's mentioned thousands and thousands of times in the Bible. Anytime anything big happened in the Bible is always preceded by fasting. Okay, there's basically 3 non-negotiables in the Bible, period. If you're a Christian, and it's giving, praying, fasting. Those are the 3 main things, but we've moved so far away from it that we just, you know, kind of like we do with religion, is kind of, we'll do this but not that. We'll do this but not, and that's kind of what we've done with fasting. So, I mean, I know you followed it, and it took me a long time to actually convince him, but now he follows.
So guys, you are very fortunate to have Willie over here. So Willie, you know, I have him twice a week for X hours in the OR, and we talk while we're working and operating, and his wealth of knowledge in all of this wellness, not medicines. He's good at that too if he needs them, but wellness is immense. He has changed me. So yes, I do believe in that diet being a huge part of your health and of your immune system, as we talked about, that overall lack of inflammation and so forth. Intermittent fasting, like he said, is one of the things that I do. And I used to think, no, wait, remember, we've always been taught breakfast. You have to have that breakfast. That sets the whole day. No, there was nothing to that. And in fact, just the opposite once I got off of that roller coaster. So yeah, 2 meals a day, and at least once a week I'll do a 24-hour fast. Now, you go, oh my gosh, how can I do that? Well, 24-hour fast just means Sunday after I eat supper, I don't eat again until supper Monday. That's 24-hour. Now that does 2 things. Number one is, you know, decreases the calories. It gets the body to look at, rest and so forth. But the other thing, and I love about it, it changes your attitude toward food. You're not going to starve to death.
The majority of, understand that we talked about the U.S. population sits now at 70 to 75% overweight and obese. All these people that are worried about missing a meal, and they come to me, they want to lose weight, you can live a long time on your body fat. Your body fat is stored food. Unless you give your body a reason to dig into that stored food, it's not going to do it.
Yeah.
And we generally don't do it because we have there's that stigma, we have to eat, or don't starve yourself. Starving is involuntary.
Yeah,
okay?
That's different.
Yeah, fasting is the voluntary omission of food.
Exactly.
Okay? So we have a couple of more tips coming up. We're up to one more break from our sponsors, and we'll be back with you with some parting tips.
Turn on your glam today. The KNLY collection is here, elaborated with natural products. Give yourself a compliment with our organic lip glosses in more than 15 shades. With the KNLY lip gloss collection, you can hydrate your lips and keep that glamorous look that you need. Turn on your glam. Visit KNLY.com. And don't forget our skincare collection with natural ingredients that will improve the skin's appearance and prevent visible signs of aging. We have everything you need to achieve smooth and vitalized skin. KNLY.com. Turn on your glam today.
This was a proud sponsor of KNLY 91.1 FM.
The best way to protect yourself from 2019 novel coronavirus is to avoid being exposed to the virus. Additionally, there are preventative actions that you can take to protect yourself and your family from the spread of respiratory viruses that can make you sick. These include stay home if you're sick, cover your cough, and wash your hands.
Cupcakes and Bubbles, located at 26400 Kirkendall Road in Tomball, Texas. Cupcakes and Bubbles has the sweetest and most delicious cupcakes for the entire family. From chocolate raspberry, strawberry rhubars, cookies and cream, and the most popular among kids, the s'mores cupcake. Come and enjoy our cupcakes with a glass of your favorite bubbles. Visit www.cupcakesandbubbles.com for the complete list of our delicious cupcakes. Order online through our webpage. DoorDash and Uber Eats is available too. Enjoy life's sweetest moments with Cupcakes and Bubbles.
This was a proud sponsor of KNLY 91.1 FM.
We believe this new virus spreads mostly from person to person through respiratory droplets produced when someone who is sick coughs or sneezes. This is similar to how flu and other respiratory illnesses spread. These droplets can land in the mouth or nose of people nearby, or possibly be inhaled into the lungs. Most person-to-person spread happens when people are in close contact. It's also possible that this virus can spread when someone touches a contaminated surface and then touches the mouth, nose, or eyes. The best way to protect yourself from 2019 novel coronavirus is to avoid being exposed to the virus. Additionally, there are preventative actions that you can take to protect yourself and your family from the spread of respiratory viruses that can make you sick. These include stay home if you're sick, cover your cough, and wash your hands.
It started as a dream. When I was a little kid, I always wanted to have my own restaurant. And it was a dream that finally we had the opportunity to build it here in the Woodlands. And I'm so happy with it.
It's a really authentic Italian food. I try to maintain the most original possible. It's very important. Every day I make my fresh pasta.
Chi mangia bene, mangia italiano. Please come and visit us.
This was a proud sponsor of KNLY 91.1 FM.
Hi everybody, we're back with Superhuman with Dr. V and Jason Phelps. I keep saying Jason Phelps, he's not here today, but hopefully he'll be back next week. Had a great show with Dr. Eads and some great info. I wanted to leave y'all with a couple of things and things to do, quick actionable things that we can do today. Number one, very easy thing, just so we talked about earlier, call 5 friends, combat loneliness. There's a lot of people that are isolated right now. I think we should physically distance, not socially distance. You can socialize online, FaceTime, Zoom. I mean, there's any number of things you can do on the computer now. So really combat that loneliness. We really need to do, not be socially distant, but physically distant, okay? Number two, easiest thing, and you're seeing actually apps and all kinds of people popping up. Just like when we see in disasters, family, friends, neighbors are all coming together. Find out if anybody in your neighborhood is elderly, and if they need anything, if they can't get out, if they can't get to a store, and then help them out, see if they need anything. Number three, call a local store, and this is going to be the big thing, because this is the biggest thing. It's going to take some major financial hits, worldwide, not just worldwide, but locally in the U.S. Call a local store that you go to or support locally, and go buy a gift card to support future purchases. I mean, they're going to be hurting. So at least this, helps them float in the meantime. Some people have been really, really fortunate to still, have drive-through services. But we know a lot of local business owners, and everybody's really, really hurting. So try to call if you can, buy a gift card and help them. And then this one will kind of, answer another caller question. Get outside and go for a walk.
Absolutely.
Like literally, this is a time to reconnect with your kids, with your family. We've been doing this. We've been outside daily. A caller called in and they basically said, questioned that now that the gyms are closed, should we be exercising outdoors, indoors? What should we do? I don't care where you're doing it.
Just do it.
Just do it. I mean,
That's
just
right.
do something inside your house. If you got 5 to 10 feet, the whole notion, because people gave me the excuse when gyms were open, they're like, I just can't get to the gym.
Yeah.
And now there is no gym, and they're like, well, I can't work out. It's
Yeah.
like, if you have 5, 10 feet around you and you're inside or out, it doesn't matter.
Push-ups,
Do something.
anything.
Do anything body weight, anything
Yeah.
against gravity. There's so many things now you can get online, and there's so many trainers now putting out body weight exercises. If you're fortunate enough to have your own home gym, then by all means, do something, but move, walk,
Yes.
do something. But I want to kind of leave everybody with some final thoughts. And I think, Carlos, you may have that one. Do you have that one also, that slide? Basically, the final thoughts are this, okay? Everybody, number one, calm down. Like, we really, really need to calm down. Now, calming down does not mean not taking this seriously. That's what we really, really, really want to stress. That doesn't mean that we're not taking this seriously, okay? But understand that, number one, God is in control. God is not taken surprised by the coronavirus or by any other virus or epidemic. He's still on the throne this morning and is in complete control of all things. Psalm 46:1 directly says, God is our refuge and ever-present help in trouble. While we want to be vigilant in what we can control, when things like this happen, we ultimately need to trust the one who is always in control. Number two, choose faith over fear. Times like this are opportunities to show the world that our faith is a big God. It's easy to give way to fear, but we change the world when we choose to exhibit faith over fear. Let's be people who show Jesus to the world during this time and season of unrest. Number three, instead of going to church, we can't go to church. I mean, all the
That's
churches
right.
are closed, right? Literally, everybody talks about, we're not, their church is not a building. Be the church. We really have a unique opportunity to live out our benediction daily. Reach out to your family, your friends, your neighbors. Watch a live stream. Our church, Restoration, is doing a live stream. All the churches now are doing live streams. They just had a live stream last night. And I'm going to be real honest, full disclosure, these tips were actually from our pastor, Greg Johnson at Restoration. So have conversations that incite love, peace, and hope to a culture gripped with fear right now. Look for opportunities to pray with people. Tough times are often the best time to exhibit Jesus. And basically, we are done for this show. I hope y'all got some good, actionable information, calmed your fears a little bit. Like I said, we still don't know a lot about this. Everybody needs to be calm and use common sense. And again, calm does not mean not taking it seriously. This is a very serious thing just because of the way it's spread worldwide. But understand that the fatality rate is not, again, Surgeon General says 99.3% of the people that actually contract it are going to recover. If you're looking at, the stats, overwhelming amount of people are recovering, and understand that understand who is most at risk. Let's protect them, and you can also again protect them by physically distancing, okay, being very careful with the most at risk. But basically, I've really enjoyed having Dr. Eads here. It was under a much different circumstance. He was actually scheduled to be on as a guest and decided last minute to come on and talk about this, just because we've had this conversation a lot of times in surgery over the last few weeks, and we've been watching it.
Yeah.
I mean, since it started, and where's it going to go and what's it going to do? We don't know. We're worried just like y'all are as far as the financial, the political impact, the health and wellness impact. It's going to really stretch, and we just really want to stress calm and really want people to not let this dive into social unrest. Stop the panic buying, guys. There's no need right now there's no evidence that there's going to be any disruption in supply chain. I would really stress calm and peace and love to everybody right now. So, Dr. Eads, thank you very much.
Bet.
I
Enjoyed
appreciate
it.
you being on here, and we'll have him again to talk about things when health and wellness and women's health, really when things calm down. But I appreciate y'all, and I hope y'all have gotten some good tips on this very first inaugural show of Superhuman. I am Dr. V, and next week I will have Jason Phillips with me, with our guest Dr. Richard Harris from GH Wellness out of Houston, and we'll be talking about some really cool health and wellness tips then. So tune in next Thursday from 12 to 1, and we will see you then.
Thank you.